This is Ravn from 1349, and you're listening to the Moshpit on Sin.
Having released 6 albums in a career that's spanned over 18 years, 1349 are at the forefront of the modern Norwegian black metal scene. They've announced an Australian tour for 2016, which sees them play here in Melbourne at Max Watts on the 27th of February, joined by the band's lead singer, Ravn. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's the first time you and the band are coming to Australia. What are you looking forward to the most about coming here?
Well, it's always interesting to break new ground, and I think it's long overdue to go to Australia. We had been wanting to go down there for a long time. We first got an offer, or we first talked about it. We did a show together with Hobbs, Angel of Death, and he really wanted us to come down there, so he tried to set us up, but it never happened. So we've been working on and off, trying to get gigs down there, but it had proven difficult until now. And we finally were able to make it happen. We're really stoked to see this one go through. So see how the Australian fans, we heard so much about it from other bands that have been touring there. So really looking forward to see how things work down there.
I watched some live videos of you guys on YouTube, and you have a great show. So what can fans really expect from it?
Well, 1349 is known as quite a reputation as a live band, and that's something that we're really proud of, and that we do our best to maintain as well. It's been described like a brute force of energy that you just have to be there to experience. And I had people that are not metal people and are not particularly fond of metal either, that have been to our shows, and they have been blown away by the energy and the feeling, and they say that it's definitely an experience that they would recommend to other people as well. So 1349 live is a huge brute force, and it's best enjoy if you just let go and tag along on the ride as good as you can.
As I was saying, I watched these videos on YouTube. You have all of these great light show. You occasionally have pyro in there, and you guys dress up as well. So how much preparation do you guys, like, how much thought and attention to detail do you put into your own live shows?
It varies from venue to venue, of course, what kind of equipment they have and what kind of people that work there. It's not always that we are fortunate to be able to travel with our own crew, which has specific instruction on how things should look and how it should be done. But we work with crew at the venue and see how we can come across as close to what we want to present as possible. Of course, the pyro part is unfortunately something that is rare, and something that we would like to have on every show that we do, but it costs a lot of money, and a lot of venues don't allow it due to safety reasons. But whenever we can, and we got the money, we spend a lot of money on the live show. So yeah, effort being put into detail and thought. I'm really glad that you noticed, because we do that a lot. It's important to us that 1349 shines visually as well as musically when we perform. So the two should be given an equal amount of attention in order to put on the best possible live show.
You mentioned the cost of putting the show together. What are some of the other challenges of putting together a tour?
It's always the logistics. It's first off, you start with an offer, and then you see the travel costs, and like going to Australia, you have visa costs. So and then it's all the paperwork to be done, and at the end, you need to see how much money you have to spend it in order just to arrive in Australia, and from there on you have to see where you end up. But it's of course you could say that it's a lot of emails and practical matters being spent on time that could be done creatively as well. But when you choose to tour, it naturally comes with a lot of work. And we chose to become a touring band, so then this is kind of something that comes with it. So we've been doing it for quite a few years now, so it's starting to get a routine, and the machinery moves quicker and quicker for every time. So when you break new ground like Australia, there's always new visa papers. There's always some weird details and weird questions that you need to find an answer to, and every country has its own take on things. So it's always something, but it's part of the job, basically. So,
well, as you're saying, you guys have been doing this for a while. What was it about black metal which led you to start?
Black metal was a genre that I had in my mind, being a child that was fond of of heavier music, and I couldn't get it heavy enough. I couldn't get it extreme enough. So I played around with in my mind with ideas for a band that was like over the top. It should be like the most extreme band in the world. And when I discovered black metal, I heard Burzum for the first time in early 90s. It was an instant click, and I felt like I wasn't the only one having this idea, and it was something that gave me a feeling of grimness and darkness, and exactly what I had envisioned, that the feelings that I wanted to create with the music I had in my mind. When I discovered all the black metal acts, and they were Norwegians as well, and I was happy of just being a fan of black metal. But as time passed by and different situations occurred, so that the black metal scene started to alter, and the expression of the music and the direction of the music that was labeled black metal started to change. So by the end of the 90s, there were mostly acts that they put on some sort of corpse paint, and the music that they performed were mostly based with synthesizers. And to me, it held more of a gothic approach, and I felt that all the grimness and the darkness and everything that I first fell in love with when it come to black metal was gone. It was not there anymore, and I felt that the legacy of Norwegian black metal was neglected. So that's when I decided to take matters into my own hand, and that's how 1349 was formed, basically. And I was fortunate to find people that shared my opinion and shared my vision on direction and where we should go. And we never looked back from there. We started creating black metal the way we want it to be, and I think that's the only way to go.
When can we expect a new album, or are you writing any new material at the moment?
It's a process that we approach a bit different from time to time. As of now, we have been speaking of new material. There are some ideas that we've been speaking of, but people are mostly working individual at the moment. But the wheels have slowly started to turn, so the process is on the move. How fast it will accelerate is always interesting to see, and it's actually out of our control. It sounds weird, but the band has a will of its own. It seems we have tried to control and take control of the creative situation, but something happens when the four of us come together and we start. When we call it like the band spirit, and the sum of the four of us leads into something greater. And if we try to control it, it will oppose and reject. So we have learned just to flow with it, and sometimes things take time, and other times it can go rapidly. And this also shows on our release schedule. You never know, but the wheels have started moving at least, and that's always the first sign. So let's see what happens.
Thank you for talking to us, and look forward to seeing you when you're down under.
Hope to see you when we come down there, Dane.